Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. This is a breaking update. Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID-19. This information is just in from the University of Alabama. We will give you more updates as we get them from the University of Alabama. Nick Saban will still speak to the media close to 6 p.m., but this is just in, and we have the official statement from the university, and I'll read that right now. Statement from Dr. Jimmy Robinson and Jeff Allen. Again, this is just in. Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID-19. Earlier this afternoon, we received notification that Coach Saban and Greg Byrne tested positive for COVID-19. Both immediately left the facility and went to their homes to self-isolate after receiving that information. At this point in time, the positive tests are limited to those two individuals. All individuals who were considered high-risk contacts have been notified and will follow quarantine guidelines. We will follow the SEC's return to activity and medical guidance task force protocol for testing asymptomatic positives. Statement from Alabama football coach Nick Saban. I found out earlier this afternoon that I tested positive for COVID-19. I immediately left work and isolated at home. At this time, I do not have any symptoms relative to COVID, and I have taken another PCR test to confirm my diagnosis. I informed our team my positive test at 2 p.m. today on a Zoom call and let them know offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian will oversee preparations at the complex while I work from home. Statement from Alabama Athletic Director Greg Byrne. Today, I received notice that my COVID-19 test from this morning came back positive. Upon hearing this news, I immediately entered self-isolation, will remain at home following all guidelines. We've been diligent about mask wearing and social distancing from the start, and we continue to encourage all of you to take the necessary precautions to help stop the spread of this virus for yourself and those around you. Now, this is just in, and it's breaking news. So as we get more information, kind of what it means for this weekend's game between Alabama and Georgia, we will have that information. But this is a breaking update that Nick Saban and Greg Byrne have tested positive for COVID-19. You got to think, and as we find out more, and I literally just got this on my desk right here. So if there's any other breaking updates, I'll bring them to you, and we'll get those to you as soon as I can. I got to text a couple of my guys. Go ahead and post inside the comment box, but hold on, give me 1 second. But breaking news: Nick Saban has COVID-19 along with Greg Byrne. My name is Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Just days before the highly anticipated game between Alabama and Georgia, Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID-19. And I'll read the statement again. I'm trying to get up a banner and do all sorts of stuff. So, wow, I cannot believe it just a couple days before this game. What do you guys think in the comment box? And let me know. If, let me know if there's some more breaking news. I'll try to get some staff in here. But right now, Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID-19. I guess I'll open up the phone lines and I'll take a couple calls, and we'll kind of, decipher what could happen. I think when we look at the larger scale of everything, what does this mean, right? And obviously it means Nick Saban has COVID-19, but what does it mean for this weekend's game? Is Nick Saban, obviously he going to coach from some isolated room? I think, that could be a possibility. Obviously, Steve Sarkisian will be the head coach if we continue with this game. And again, this is just in from, headquarters at the University of Alabama that Nick Saban has tested positive from COVID-19. Pretty amazing stuff right now that is going on. Obviously, prayers out to, everybody that has been affected by COVID-19. And again, I'll pop up the statement right here on Bama Insider, and you can, of course, read more. And here's a statement. I'll read it again from Nick Saban. I found out earlier this afternoon that I've tested positive for COVID-19. I immediately left work and isolated at home. At this time, I do not have any symptoms relative to COVID, and I've taken another PCR test to confirm my diagnosis. I informed our team my positive test at 2 p.m. today on a Zoom call and let them know offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian will oversee preparations at the complex while I work from home. Work from home. So, we all know Saban, right? And be interesting to see what happens and how he's able to work going into this pivotal game against Georgia. Now, I will tell you this. Now, Nick Saban will be available to the media at 6 p.m. And we will carry that press conference right here on Bama Insider. Going to do a couple more things, so please stand by and be right back on Bama Insider. But Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID. I'll be right back in just 1 second. All right, and we are back right here on Bama Insider. If you're just joining us, Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID-19, just a couple days away from the big game between Alabama and Georgia. What do you guys think? Should the game be postponed for this weekend? I mean, what do you think about it? I mean, these teams have been prepping. Seems like Alabama's offense clearly playing at a high level, but the defense isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. Georgia coming in here, a 5-point underdog against Alabama Crimson Tide. I'd like to figure out and get kind of your take on this. I'll actually, you know what? I will take your phone calls. I'll take a couple calls and then we'll break and then I'll come back after the show. So let me kind of get the phone line set up and then I'll take some calls if you guys want to call in and kind of sound off about what should happen. Here's how the teams kind of stack up against each other. Alabama right now averaging 51 points per game. Georgia averaging 36 points per game. Alabama, of course, allowing 30 points per game, and Georgia only allowing 12 points a game. What do you guys, as you guys kind of look at the matchup right now? I mean, you got kind of a tale of two teams, right? As we talked about before, Alabama with the amazing, offense, but the defense, I can't even believe the numbers that I'm looking at. What do you guys think about this matchup? I mean, here's some other kind of graphics that I was going to talk about today later on when we have our show. And as you can see, when you look at these are the team grades. So you have Alabama's team grade overall, and these are the grades from Pro Football Focus, kind of how these two teams stack up. Alabama on the left, Georgia on the right. So Alabama's defense right now graded out at 69.0, Georgia at a 91.0. The run defense for Alabama 66.1. Georgia with a 92 grade through 3 games. Tackling Alabama with this grade of 60, if you can believe that. Georgia's grade 87.7. Pass rush, 73.1 from Alabama and 80.5 for Georgia. And then in coverage, Alabama with a 66 grade and Georgia with a grade of 88.3. Again, if you're just joining us, just breaking news, Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID. And, we don't know what that's going to mean for this weekend going into this game. I mean, I think that you can kind of look at it in twofold. Number one, does this game get postponed? Will this game go on? And Amber's asking if you guys have questions in the comment box that I might be able to get to. Did any players test positive? You know what, Amber, we don't know right now if any players test positive. We wouldn't find that out right now, but Saban will be talking to the media at 5:55. So we will be back with that press conference. And again, I'll call back and we'll have our normal call-in show. But right now, Saban has tested positive. And while I kind of get things set up, I'm going to post the message on the screen and then I'm going to set up the call line and then you can call in and kind of sound off on what you think about this game and if this game should happen. So give me about a 2-minute window and I'll be right back here on Bama Insider.
Thank you for calling Alabama Football Call-In Show.
All right. Back here on BamaInsider.com, I'm actually going to put the call line in at the bottom of the number. The call line is 205-850-0883. And, that's kind of the statement from Nick Saban right there. And I'll read it one more time before we get going. The statement is in from Nick Saban. Call line is open, 205-850-0883. I want to get your take. Should this game happen this weekend between Alabama and Georgia? You already saw that, games between Florida and LSU were postponed. Do you guys think that this should happen this week? Let me know. I want to take your calls. Call line is 205-850-0883. I'll be here for just a while. Take your calls. And then, we'll have Nick Saban's press conference. And then after that, we will get back and we'll take more calls tonight as we continue to inch closer to this Georgia-Alabama game. I mean, so much was on the line, right? You have the number 2 team in the country taking on the number 3 team in the country. And it's kind of like a lot of it between Alabama's offense, right, and the defense. And now, I don't know if it's going to happen this particular weekend. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Here's a statement. If you guys missed it, I'll read it one more time because I know there's a ton of people jumping on right now. And here's a statement. You can see Nick Saban's statement right at the bottom, or rather in the center. I found out earlier this afternoon that I have tested positive for COVID-19. I immediately left work and isolated at home. At this time, I do not have any symptoms relative to COVID, and I've taken another PCR test to confirm my diagnosis. I informed our team my positive test at 2 p.m. today on a Zoom call and let them know that offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian will oversee preparations at the complex while I work from home. And call line is open at 205-850-0883. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comment box. Got our first caller in. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
My name's Prem. I'm from New Jersey.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your first name.
Prem?
All right, go ahead, buddy. Take it.
All
right. I'm not sure what happened. Lost the caller. But yeah, I mean, I think when you look at this game, clearly, there's, in my opinion, I think the game will take place this weekend. And here's why. I think because, Sarkisian can coach, right? And I think this team is ready and playing at a very high level going into this game. Obviously not on the defensive side, but what are you going to do? I think, it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, that COVID is going to affect every single team. As you've kind of seen what's happening with particular teams throughout the country, postponement games. I think there's 2 in the SEC right now. I don't think that this one's going to be postponed. I think we're too close away from it. David is saying, just cancel the game. I get it. I mean, everyone's going to have an opinion about this. And, let's go to some callers right now. Hello, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Jake from New York City.
Hey, Jake, what's up? Thank you very much for joining us. What's kind of your take on the situation right now?
I'm going to be frank right now, man. I don't know how this season's even going on anymore. I've been saying this from the start about the NFL and college football. This is not going to work without a bubble. I just really think people need to wake up and realize this already. I think he's a smart coach. I pray for everybody who's had this virus. I've had friends who've had this virus. I went through the pandemic at the highest pinnacle in New York City. This is not a joke. And I think the rest of the country needs to wake up and realize this. And I'm tired of politics. I'm tired of this nonsense. Please just cancel the season. And I'm just going to end it on that. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. All right. We're going to move to our next caller. Hello. Thanks for calling in. It's Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Sean from Huntsville.
Hey, what's up, Sean? Man, you had such an incredible call a couple days ago, kind of breaking down the schematics, and here we are, Nick Saban test positive just a couple days away. Let me ask you this, Sean. Should the game take place this Saturday? That's my first question to you.
Yes, sir, it should. Yes, sir, it should. Emphatically, yes, sir, it should. If you're talking about canceling a game because of this and other players have not tested positive, that'd be completely unfair to the players. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Emphatically, without going to rated R, we should play this. This is a football game. Yes, sir. We should play this game, man. It's ridiculous. People talking about cancel the game. As long as these players have not tested positive for COVID, One guy talking about cancel the season. Man, no, none of that is no, absolutely not. These players have worked extremely hard. No, we should not cancel a game because Coach Saban tested. And Coach Saban wouldn't want this game canceled. Coach Saban tested positive, and God knows we're praying for him as we speak right now, him and Greg Burns. But absolutely not. As long as these positive tests have not infected the team in an overwhelming way, we must play Saturday. That's what they work for. That's what these. Trust me, when you play football, you don't want to sit around and nothing's wrong with you. Let's play. Let's strap it up and let's play. Coach Saban is not a player. He's a coach. I have much faith in Coach Sarkisian. The game plan should already be in. Mm-hmm. Actually, if you want the truth, the game plan for Georgia probably was in last week, if you want the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's play. Absolutely not. What are these people talking about? Cancel the game. No. Don't give these Georgia fans the benefit of the doubt of saying we use that as an excuse. No. HE, you know what? No. Let's play. Let's strap it up and let's go.
All right, Sean. As we kind of, look towards this game, and I think you're right. I think the game plan probably already in place for this particular game. You kind of get to this midweek point. I mean, if Saban is the only guy that was kind of, affected by this, and if he is isolating, I'm with you. I think this game should take place. I think if the players are safe and Byrne and Saban are isolating, then absolutely, I think we got to go forward and play it. I think it's kind of only a matter of time until COVID affects everybody. In every single team. Right. I think that's what we're seeing, and I'm not one to, take light of this. I get it. It's bad and it's something real. And there's people who, are more, have more compromised immune systems than others. I get it. I totally get it. And I hope and pray that Nick Saban is okay. He's older. He's in that older population. And he said, and I read the statement out there already, that he's currently not having any, symptoms. So what else you got, Sean?
I want to say one last thing. Look, for all the fans, look around the country at some of these other universities. These people have 18, 19 of the team of the players catching COVID. Alabama has done a great job. The staff has done a great job of keeping everything nice and sanitized and clean. It's unfortunate for Coach Saban because he's an older guy. And like I said, my prayers are with him and his family. And Coach Saban's a tough cookie. He'll be back. But as far as canceling everything, no, that won't be unfair. That won't be fair to anyone who worked long hours. Let's play. It's time. It's almost here. Coach Saban gonna be tuned in. You know how Coach Saban is. His hands is gonna be on that thing, even from wherever he be at. Want to tell you, Kyle, you guys do a great job. Shout out to my man Andrew Bone. You guys do a great job, and I will continue to support.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. We're on to our next caller. All right, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the line, buddy. Go ahead.
You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
How you?
Sorry, we dropped the call. Sorry about that. Got another call coming in. All right, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, this is Sawyer McKenzie out in Corona, California.
Hey, what's up, Sawyer? Thank you for calling from Corona. I've been out there many times. I got some friends out there. So go ahead, man. You're on the show.
Yeah, man, I agree with Sean. I mean, obviously, I want to see the game. I'm a big Bama fan. I went to school there. But even just for the sake of competition, I have some friends who are Georgia fans who are students out there, and the moment they heard, they text me right away, and they were bummed. I think they want to see the two teams compete. This is a 2 versus 3 game, and it goes a long way back. Georgia fans hate us, and the rivalry is great. So I want to see the gameplay, and 90% of that work goes in practices and film. And so Coach Saban has already put in that work, and he'll have his hand on the game no matter what. Like Sean said, there's Zoom or whatever it is, the systems they got. So I want to see the gameplay.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. And I think at this point, if no players are affected, and let's make sure that the players and the coaches or whoever they are, if those guys are isolating, then I think the game should go forward, right? I think in different situations, different games, with Florida, they had players, that are affected, for this weekend, and that's why the game was postponed. I saw that, everybody saw it today. Lane Kiffin came out and said that there were some players that, had tested positive for COVID. So I think you got to go by, the situation that's happening. And just like I said with Sean, I think it's kind of a matter of time to all these teams, kind of go through it. And just like our first caller from New York said, I mean, college football is not played in a bubble. So you're going to have more teams exposed. And that was kind of my question kind of going into the season. I knew that we were going to play the season. I was kind of curious how we would navigate through it. And this is how we're navigating through it. Just as we navigate through life, right? Bad things happen in life. We have to navigate around them. Anything else while you're on the show, buddy?
Yeah, I agree with you too. I think the fact that he was even being tested shows that they're taking the processes, they're going through the steps to make sure the players are protected, coaches are protected, and that's absolutely the first concern, way beyond football and making the season happen. Their safety is, but they already got that stuff in place, and that was a big argument for getting the season going. A lot of these students were saying that they were going to be safer, in their facilities. They're going to have that medical team there, and so I agree with that 100%. And I think, take those steps, take those precautions. But the fact that he's already been tested, I don't know if you saw it. I saw on ESPN while I was watching the show, Greg Byrne, the AD, just tested positive as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're taking those tests and seeing that, we're seeing that they're already taking their precautions. And so I think, their safety is their number one concern already. We don't have to worry about that. They're taking those steps and those measures. So let's go on and let's see what we can do to make this game happen with keeping their safety in mind, but then also making sure that, we're here to play football, or they are. I'm here to watch it, so I hope they get to do their job out there.
All right. Thanks for calling in, buddy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And in case you missed it earlier, Greg Byrne has also tested positive for COVID. My name is Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. If you guys could hit the thumbs up button, I'd really appreciate it. Helps the channel grow. And every time there's news I can deliver right here on Bama Insider. I'll take another couple calls here in a second. Here's a statement, though. There's a statement from Jeff Allen up top, and then Nick Saban, and then down at the bottom, Greg Byrne. I can hide that banner in just a second so you guys can read that statement from Athletic Director Greg Byrne, basically saying that he tested positive as well and that he's in isolation. So you can read more right now on BamaInsider.com. Our team writer Tony Sukalis has kind of the article with basically just the same thing. This is what we know right now in terms of whether this game is going to be played. I think from sources that I talked to close to the university, looks like we're going to move forward. Now that's not official, but we're going to move on to our next call and take it right now. Hello, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from? Go ahead, buddy. You're on the line. All righty, moving to our next call.
Tuscaloosa.
Hey, what's up, buddy? You're on the line. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is Brian from Jacksonville, Florida.
Hey, Brian, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining the show. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm originally a Tuscaloosa native, so really love your show and appreciate everything you guys are doing. I'm wondering, this sounds kind of off the wall, but is it possible Coach Saban could be in the press box in the stadium and help coach from there?
I was kind of wondering that myself. I mean, remember there was I forget who it was. Was it Hugh Freeze who coached from a hospital bed or something like that last year, and they kind of showed him up in the stands?
Yeah, I believe so.
They could definitely get Saban wherever he needs to be, right, and get him up to some sort of suite where he's kind of bottled up and isolated. But he could also do it, from his home. I mean, I think with the way that everything is virtually set up today, he'll certainly have a pulse on the game, just as some of our other callers talked about before. Well, let me ask you this: I think Saban's going to be, in this game somehow, whether he's up in the suite or whether he's coming in virtually. Do you think this game should be played? It seems like the majority of people, along with myself, feel that if everyone is safe and these guys are isolating who were impacted and tested positive, if the players are okay and Georgia players are okay, I feel that the game should take place. What about you?
Yeah, I believe so. With the things the way they are today, we're going to have to power through this. And otherwise, there's not going to be a complete season. People are just going to have to adapt. Teams are just going to have to adapt as long as it's not the players, especially.
Yeah,
I believe we should go with it.
Yeah, I think so too. And just as I continue to reiterate, it seems like it's only a matter of time until this, kind of creeps into everybody. So, it's, it's something that we're going to have to navigate through. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that our prayers are out to everybody who's been impacted by this. Saban's, close to 70 years old, Greg Burns. I want a lot of these guys to make sure that the safeties, and whether it's a college student or not, I know college students, that have been impacted. I know people that have been impacted. I know people who have compromised immune systems that I'm praying for, that, hopefully they don't get this or the flu or whatever. But I think that the game should be played. Anything else while you're on the line, Brian?
No, sir. Just thanks for your show. Really enjoy it.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you
and we're
much.
praying. We'll be praying for everyone as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah. Prayers out to Nick Saban's family. We're going to move along to our next caller. Hello, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Jeremy calling from Alpharetta, Georgia.
Hello, Jeremy. Thank you very much for calling. Go ahead, buddy. You're on the line.
Yeah, as you can probably guess, I am a Bulldogs fan, and I do believe that the Bulldogs are going to win this game before all of this. And it's because of that. And again, I'm not a monster. Thoughts and prayers for the Saban and his family. That being said, I really see this, and I think most Alabama fans would agree, this is a distraction that Alabama didn't need, with the questions that's swirling around about your defense as it is. And I personally, Georgia's bringing hell, and I think the quarterback isn't going to make it through the whole game. And it's just going to be, I think it's going to cloud the victory that Georgia is going to get, because it's something that people are going to point, well, coach had, COVID, and this was going on and this is going on. Not that I think that it matters that much, because I do believe that we'll be seeing each other again in Atlanta at the SEC championship. But, honestly, I'm first and foremost upset for, coach and his health. But I believe that Georgia was going to win, and I believe they still will, but I just see now there's going to be all these excuses thrown around. And I got to admit, it will feel a little bit hollow for Kirby finally, taking the master out.
Yeah, I think kind of, number one, I get what you're saying, prayers out to Nick Saban and everybody who has dealt with this. And I want to go off your point, because I think you do make a great point. I mean, I think there's going to be fans, if Georgia comes in here and beats Alabama, which they very well could. I mean, you look at everything that Georgia's defense has done. You look at the way that Kirby Smart has, built up this program. I mean, it's really incredible that he hasn't beaten Nick Saban 2 times in a row, right? You look at kind of the past games between these two teams, and everybody knows what happened. I mean, it took a backup quarterback to come in and beat Kirby Smart, and now you have Nick Saban not in this game. And my question is, this would be crazy, right? If Georgia wins this game, will it go again? Will Nick Saban, like, how will the record work? You know what I'm saying? Will it be 21-0? Because it is Nick Saban's team, but will he be like Kirby Smart beating Steve Sarkisian? And I'm just talking like the schematics of the wins and losses. I feel that Alabama is going to beat Georgia. I think just that offense is too good, but I totally get what you're saying. Like, fans are going to point to the fact that, Nick Saban wasn't a part of this game. Let me pose something to you, Jeremy. I appreciate you calling in. By the way, yes, Saban has tested positive for COVID-19. People keep asking, like, is this for real? No. Like, I would never come on here and troll anybody. I'm not into that. I'm not into clickbait. Like, all I do is I just want to talk about relevant events and catch up with all the callers from across the country. Jeremy, how about this scenario? And I was talking earlier about this actually with my father. Georgia and Alabama play right now. Who knows what's going to happen? Go either way. Then they play for the SEC championship, right? And let's say that Alabama was to win, and then Georgia comes back and they beat Alabama in the SEC championship. I think that, going through the gauntlet of the SEC, if these are the two teams that are undefeated, that only have one loss, rather, they'll both make the playoffs, and they could potentially play 3 times this season. You see that scenario? You get what I'm talking about?
No, absolutely. I absolutely could see that scenario, and just from again, Big Ten hasn't started. There's no need to talk about the pack out there, but I think that's going to be, whether it be Georgia or Alabama, it's going to the one that's took the losses most recently. It's going to hurt them, because that is what I would
see the commission saying is like, well, do we really want to see them play? But regardless, I still believe whatever happens in this game or SEC championship, Georgia and Alabama are in the top. They're one of the top 4 teams in the nation, and they, as long as they keep playing the level they are, I don't see their. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just North Carolina, Cincinnati. Like that's no. I mean, Ohio State probably has a good claim to it. Clemson, but the gauntlet of going through the SEC, the only guaranteed win is Vanderbilt, and that's it. And you just pray that they're on your schedule because you're not getting, a Louisiana Tech or Georgia State. There's none of those games. So like every win is such a quality win.
Sure.
And it's a shame. It's just a shame. I mean, both these teams are amazing teams, and you're right. Beating Kirby, if Georgia does win, beating Sarkisian is not beating Saban. It's an asterisk. And I can tell you right now, that will never be. That's what's going to be said. No one's going to say that Kirby beat Saban until Saban's on that sideline.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm going to move to our next caller, but I'll kind of finish on the other line. Well, thanks for calling in, Jeremy. But you bring up some great points. I totally understand where you're coming from. Moving on to our next caller, but I think he's right. Like if Georgia is to win this game, fans can say whatever they want that Kirby Smart beat Sarkisian or whatever. He didn't beat Saban. It's a Saban program. I think for me, I think everybody will know, but I think that these two teams will have their chance down the road, not only one more time, but I think 2 more times when you kind of look at the giant spectrum of college football. Just my opinion. We'll have Nick Saban's press conference at 6 p.m. I'll upload that right here to YouTube. I don't think they're allowing us to stream that today, and then we'll come back and take your calls right after that. And we continue to talk about kind of what we learned from Nick Saban's press conference. I'm really eager to hear what he has to say about this and kind of his take. And as more news drops, you can follow Bama Insider, and we'll post it right here on our YouTube channel as well. Next caller up on the line. Hello, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
I'm Sharice Beasley. I'm from Columbus, Georgia. I was very disappointed about Nick Saban. He was a national champion. I am a Penn State Nittany Lions fan, and it was devastated to play against Georgia at home. And, it's a very difficult time. I was because I am a Roll Tide fan. You see, that's why he won the Iron Bowl and so many titles that they lose to the final appointed to Clemson. To Mr. Henderson, I'm very sorry about it,
Yeah, well, thank you very much. No,
my life is ruined,
I think
we got to just pray for the Staten family and others, friends of the campus of the University of Alabama,
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for calling in. We appreciate it. And thank you for the prayers for Nick Saban. Same thing to not only the Saban family, but Greg Byrne, his family, and everybody else who's gone through COVID and tough times just in general. I mean, we all have been, bad things happen in life, and, prayers out to everybody, not only suffering from COVID, but just in general. All right, here we go. Next caller on the line. What's up, man? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the line, buddy. Go ahead.
Oh, you got me. Okay. Yeah, this Mythiker from Houston, Texas.
Okay. Go ahead,
Texas Tide, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, buddy.
And we'll get a chance to do a virtual Zoom from the sideline from Nick. If he's not able to be there, they can practice virtual coaching.
I think so. I mean, they've been able to do pretty much every single thing virtual right now, right? I mean, from the press conferences, pretty much we're all virtual. And check this out. When Saban does his press conference, they just wheel up like a computer to the media. So he's talking to just a screen. Yeah, it's like robots, man. This is crazy.
No way.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah,
do you think the game should take place this weekend?
I'm okay if it don't. Because, like you said, the SEC is so strong, and it gives us a chance to see them with other teams before they actually really meet.
Mm-hmm.
But because I believe they're definitely going to meet in the SEC championship, and I can see them playing again as you know, top one or four teams in the in the playoffs. So
That's
I mean, if they
that's kind of what
don't,
I was
I could
saying.
definitely see it, playing out where they play at least twice.
Yeah, like I was saying to our last caller, I think they could play maybe 3 times depending on like how the rest of the season goes down. And then, they meet up in the championship game, and then they, the SEC championship game, and then meet in the playoffs. But, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, man, thank you very much for calling. I'm going to move to our next caller, but I appreciate you calling in.
Yes, sir. Texas Tide, roll Tide. Let's go.
All right, Texas Tide. Appreciate it. Caller in from the Lone Star State. All right, we got another caller coming in. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hello, Kyle.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. You're on the line.
What's going on, Kyle? This is Jared from Buffalo, man. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Jared? Crazy news, right? Nick Saban tests positive for COVID. What's your thoughts, man?
Oh man, I'm just, I'm a little shocked. I'm I heard about it. Tested positive for COVID. Yeah, but my mom, she just found about it. So yeah, we're shocked. We're definitely shocked by this right now. I'm definitely praying for Nick Saban and his family. Thankfully, from what I was able to hear, he has shown no signs.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's shown no signs. So, that's thankful. That's awesome. Hopefully he can recover for it, man. But, it's definitely going to be a couple of, definitely going to be a difficult couple of weeks because, after the Georgia game, you got Tennessee. And, we don't know if he's going to be coaching, if he's going to be virtually for these games or if Sarkisian is going to be the interim coach for those couple of weeks or, especially with everything that's been going on with the Alabama defense and, the type of criticism that, us fans kind of give to this football team. It definitely couldn't come at a worse time, but, you never want to see this happen. You never want to see anybody catch COVID, but definitely praying for him and hopefully he can recover as soon as possible.
Hey, Jared, when we look at this game, and I want to tell everybody what's going to happen. So I'm gonna cut away probably a little bit before like 5:45. I'm gonna end the show. Then I'm gonna have Nick Saban's press conference. I'm gonna load that back to our YouTube channel. So definitely hit the thumbs up, and most importantly, subscribe and hit all notifications so you can always be notified when we drop videos right here on Bama Insider. And then I'm gonna have a longer call-in show and take everybody's calls, and we can talk about what Nick Saban said. We'll pipe in his press conference and we'll kind of, go through it. And then I'll take your calls about this coming game. But before we get into that, Jared, should this game take place this Saturday, go ahead and tell us why or why not.
I don't think so. Only because, the head coach, I think because he has it. And I think the athletic director has it. And, these players, they're going to be tested at Wednesday or Thursday, even though they do go through daily testing, they're going to go through the rounds again.
Mm-hmm.
And, these players, for the most part, it takes, for the most part, 7 days until you actually notice that it's actually there. So I think if the head coach has got it again, we've been clean all summer long, but if the head coach has got it, I definitely think that you don't really want to put anybody at risk. I think they should kind of pause this game for a little bit, at least go through the testing protocols, let the numbers go through. But even if that Georgia game takes place, these kids can test negative until after the Georgia game is over. And then it could be a potential thing that a lot of the Georgia players have it. And, you don't want this thing to spread team for team for team. So I definitely think that right now they should postpone it. But, if they do play it, then it is what it is.
Sure. Jarek, when we kind of look at this matchup, and you can call in again later on, I'll take a call. And when we kind of look at this matchup, I was going to talk about kind of the defensive player grades kind of side by side. I have a bunch of slides that I wanted to show everybody. But right here on the screen right now, you kind of look at the two defenses and kind of how they stack up. And you look at the grades of Alabama, and these are from Pro Football Focus. I mean, the grades from Alabama have been really disappointing. DJ Dell with a 59.3 through three games. Dylan Moses, 52.6. Is this game, can Alabama beat Georgia on defense, or is this kind of bigger than that?
I think it's both. I will say this, Kyle, and again, I can call back and we can definitely have a longer discussion about this. But the one thing I will say about Alabama, is that Georgia is a much easier team to kind of game plan for. You know what Georgia's all about. They're about pro style. They run a bunch of heavy concepts from under center. They do run spread too, and we've seen a lot of that so far. And I wouldn't be shocked at all if Georgia goes back to the Ole Miss game plan and say that we're just going to simply run from the spread, simply because Ole Miss has had a lot of success. But Stetson Bennett is a dink and dunk type of thrower. He likes to throw those short intermediate throws going. He doesn't have the strongest. He's no Matt Cordell, and Matt Cordell is a very extremely talented quarterback who can read the zone, who can read the zones. He understands a lot of the logistics of being that spread type of quarterback that Lane Kiffin, is infamous for. And Georgia just doesn't have it. Tom Monken's a great offensive coordinator, but this is not this is not the type of offense that Tom Monken likes to run, right? Because Georgia doesn't have the personnel for it to go to what they want to go to, and that's the spread. Kind of like what LSU had to kind of, when they had to transition when they had Joe Burrow back in 2018. So this is a much easier game for Alabama to prepare. The problem, however, though, is the fundamentals that we're lacking. We're lacking in tackling. We're lacking as far as that mental fortitude, that killer instinct that Alabama defense used to have. I mean, I've never seen an Alabama defense that got dominated up front. And even when the players were in positions, they just slowed down and didn't really want to tackle. Guys were missing a bunch of assignments and stuff like that. Like the defense just seemed way too complex for these guys, and it really interfered with their mindset, kind of. So I definitely think that maybe this game, preparing for this game a little bit, it's going to be a little bit more easier, and maybe we can go back to seeing what they did against Missouri and what they saw against A&M when they're playing really fast. But like I said before, the one positive thing is that this is a much easier game to prepare for the defensive side of the ball against Georgia.
Hey, Jarek. Well, thanks for calling in. I'm going to take a couple more calls, and then I got to break out. And then appreciate you calling in, Jarek. Thank you so much. We'll catch up hopefully soon if you can call in later on tonight. We appreciate it. I'll take a couple more calls, and then I just want to tell everybody this is how this is kind of the schedule. So Nick Saban's press conference will be at 6 p.m. I'll come back and load that right here on Bama Insider, and then I'll restart another call-in show, and I'll take your calls, and we can kind of dissect what Nick Saban said and kind of, move forward based off his comments, because we need to know, what's kind of the game plan going forward. And I think he'll be pretty transparent with that going forward, and whether, he's going to coach from home, whether he's going to coach in the booth, or I don't know. Someone said, if he has COVID, there's no way he's going to the stadium. I get that. I mean, that makes sense. So I take a couple more calls, and then I'm going to break out, get Saban's press conference, then come back right here. 2 more calls to take, and then I'll break out. Hello, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson.
Hey.
Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Matt from Mobile.
Hey, what's up, Matt?
Thanks for the good work that you do, man. You're doing great. Doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah, nobody needs to worry about Nick Saban having COVID. I have a brother that works for one of these testing centers that makes the COVID tests and distributes them, and they're all there's already been 1,000 testing centers that have had 100% false positives, and so a positive test result doesn't even mean anything. And then the CDC already back in August, which is why I'm wondering why the NCAA is taking even further measures that is against what the CDC has already came in and revised back in August, which is that if you do not have COVID-19 symptoms, you don't even need to have a COVID test. So if I were Saban in the press conference, I mean, I wish somebody of his stature would take that COVID test, ball it up and throw it in the trash and just say, hey, look, this thing is a scam, and people are testing positive, and it doesn't mean a damn thing. And we don't need to stop athletics and stop sports because of this scam. And I don't know why people aren't standing up and or people are afraid to speak the truth about this, because look, I've worked for hospice for 10 years and sat at the bedside of hundreds of people who have died of respiratory illnesses far worse than COVID. And why we're halting life and stopping life because of something this ridiculous is just beyond me.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the call. I'm going to move on to our next caller, and I appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much. Sorry about that, fam. All right. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm having some audio issues real fast. Sorry about that. My apologies. Okay, I'm gonna take let's see, I will take this last caller, and then I got to break out to get ready for Nick Saban's press conference, and then I'll be back right here to take more calls. Yeah, this is real news. Nick Saban has COVID-19, tested positive, along with Greg Byrne. Here is the statement which they sent out. Let me kind of hide this banner right here so I can show you Byrne's statement as well. Both found out. I'll go ahead and just read Saban's statement. I found out earlier this afternoon that I had tested positive for COVID-19. I immediately left work and isolated at home. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. What is going on? Okay, jeez. As I was saying, I found out earlier this afternoon that I had tested positive for COVID-19. I immediately left work and isolated at home. At this time, I do not have any symptoms relative to COVID, and I have taken another PCR test to confirm my diagnosis. I informed our team of my positive test at 2 p.m. today on a Zoom call and let them know that offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian will oversee preparations at the complex while I work from home. So there's kind of, the statement from Nick Saban. Again, I'm going to break out right now, and then I'll be back after I upload Nick Saban's press conference. Again, that'll be right here on YouTube. So make sure you hit the subscription button and click all notifications so you can be notified when Nick Saban's press conference is loaded to our YouTube system. Of course, all the coverage back at Bama Insider. We will notify you via social media back at Bama Insider if there is any changes to game time, and of course if this game is postponed, I'll come right back on Bama Insider, start a new show, and kind of inform everybody about what's going on. But thank you very much for joining me right now on this special news break as Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID-19. More information coming soon, and his press conference should be ready probably around, I would say, like 6:15 right back here on our YouTube channel. So I'll catch up with you soon. Thank you very much for joining me right now. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Insider, and come right back just a few minutes. All right, thanks, guys.